I'm ready to start. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. All right. So I see Piratenboot. Very nice.
Yeah.
In Trafalgar as well. So there's a whole bunch of pirate theme going on. You're committed, right?
You know, I usually hate Dutch names. Like, I think it's kind of cringe, but I made this kind of like a mule, and then turned out to be a main, and now I'm stuck
Ah.
with this name.
Yeah, you could
But yeah.
change it, but now people
Yeah,
know you by
yeah.
the name, and then I get it.
Yeah, it's too far. It's too far.
Yeah, I'm on my Cannoneer. This guy was called like Doe's Mule 2 because I was just naming them because I was mass making characters long time ago, and I didn't have time to get good names for all of them. So I had to, once the characters started to be played a little bit more, I'd be like, okay, now I want to change the name because that's just weird.
Yeah.
Logging from Doe's Mule 2 to Doe's Mule 19, and it's like it just gets a little strange. Okay, but yeah, no, so not quite at that point. So you're playing a Buck. How's that? How are you liking it?
I love Buck. Think the mobility during bosses is just so good. Like, you have like the small dash, you have the teleport, you have a bigger dash, you have corkscrew, and it's so nice. Like, if there's a scenario, you can probably escape from it, right? So I think that plays really nice. And I mean, can't really complain about damage either. Like, DPM is very good. Burst is alright, iframes are good, so.
Yeah, it's crazy how far the class has come for people who played like a long time ago. There was a long time where a Buck was really just kind of depressing, and everyone would say Buck suck. And then Destiny update came around, and since then it's been Buck fuck. They they don't mess around.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a kind of a 180 or at least like a 90-degree change of like where they were going. So, but you're pretty far into the game. I can see here, like you're almost 280. And
yeah.
over 60k stat with a ring, so that's really far into the game. What can I do for you today?
Yeah, so right now, like, I'm kind of contemplating because I'm in the pitched waiting room, right? But I also kind of want to get stronger, but I feel like is it even worth like investing in some points like let's say better Golex, even though I might switch out my Golex like very soon, stuff like that. What else? And
what's your liberation status? How far in are you there?
Damien next month. I started Liberation very late. I was ready for ages.
That's common. Don't worry.
Yeah. And I just didn't do it. And now I'm at the point that if I could do it on Mule as early as possible, I would.
Yeah, there's only like
yeah.
2 stages of Liberators. There's like people who go in at like 255 and try to immediately start the clears basically and get hard carried. And there's people who have been kind of ready for like almost 10 levels and are like, I just can't really find a party, and then just if it doesn't happen this month, I'll do it next month, and then the month is gonna fly by. You're like, I could have been like halfway done by now. Yeah.
I could have been liberated already like ages ago. And then I have like the 21 arcanes, I guess. I can go for 22, but I'm kind of already clearing the contents like up to like Kalos, like I do Kalos.
You do normal,
so I don't know if it's
normal Kalos or difficulties are important now, right? In terms of speed of.
Yeah. I mean, I have the damage for normal. I only do easy because it's like fast, really fast. And I wanted to do e-calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think e-calling is probably easier than normal Kalos, like with the same party. Normal Kalos is a bit tighter on. Well, it depends on how good your party is with the mechanics. Our party's not good. Myself definitely included in that. It's just really tricky, but you can do normal Kalos reasonably once you get a party that's all like strong enough, and you really just have to, just hold one tower on the left. Make sure that laser doesn't show up during the test, and as long as you can do that, you can just kind of blow through P2 of normal Kalos very quickly. And E-calling is a bit of practice. It's not as much a damage check, But the jump up to normal culling, we tried once for fun, is it's astronomical. Like it's just 5x the damage that you need, and it becomes a whole shit show. It is definitely one of those, like, the sooner you start, the sooner you get the items, and you'll probably have Eternals finished before you have pitches at this pace. So I don't know if you should be too worried about, like, quote unquote finishing the superiors because you're already clearing the content, but more because of how long it might because it probably will take long enough. The main thing because you don't have any pitch yet, right?
I mean, my belt is basically finished.
Okay, you got
and I
the
have a
belt,
source of suffering, which is really free because you have the backups. And then
it can still be an expensive process though, but yeah, the so your belt is 21. That's the description here.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're aiming for 21, or do you want to go like 22 before you switch?
Yeah, I'm kind of contemplating it because I mean my Golux is all 21 too. So it doesn't take that much to even beat it. So if I have 21 pitch, it's already better than the 21 Golux, right? So I don't know if it's even worth pushing for 22, because it's way riskier than 21.
It is way riskier. The problem comes once. Well, so the thing for pitch is that you need to you switch like a whole superior plus some extra, because you do have some drops, but unless they hit on Star Force, you can't really do too much with them, right? You want to have the green light of like it's. So if you're going for like an eye patch or a ring or a berserk, and your first one you're going for 21 because it'll be the same of what you have or already an upgrade, and you want to be able to switch into the pitched. And then if you ever get another one, mainly for like Lotus and Dabian, because you start running them so much sooner, it's more realistic that you get like your second and your third one before you even see like your first of all the other things. I think for those it's more reasonable to go for 21. Also because the alternatives, right? You probably have like a Black Bean mark or a Twilight mark that's not transposed, or a Sweetwater Tattoo in some cases. So it's most likely going to be an upgrade. So it makes more sense for those, I think, to stand on 21. But for the other ones, the problem is once you have switched, then so switching becomes more reasonably better earlier if your superior is only 21. But I would almost see, if you had all the pieces that you could switch out a superior with, I would almost, because by that time you probably have more Golux coins and everything, and especially like for belt and earring, you probably have more backups. I would almost see that as like an option to use that, you know, use the pitch as backups, so you can send the superior to 22, and then in case you do run out of superiors, then you can always go back to the pitch. But if they do hit 22, that gives you the green light to also tap the pitch to 22 before you would switch, so that it's really permanent, so that you can go really hard on the flames, really hard on the potential, so that when you switch, you're like completely set in one go. Like you said, because you're already clearing the content, so you would want that switch to be, you know, like a permanent switch, and not be like, now you've like half switched in, and then what do you do? Like if you get another drop, do you then tap that one on the side? If it hits 22, and then do you go back to the original to see if that also hits 22? And then if it booms, do you then go for all the potential and all the flames again on the new one? Like that is an option, but it is a quite expensive one. So especially with the source, right? Because you can make a 22 superior. That is not like impossible, but then you have a 21 source. There you also kind of want to have the option of being able to, like, if it fails from 21 down to 20, because they're so rare sources, right? That you make another 22 superior to transfer into the source just to gain 20 to 21 guaranteed, and then go.
Oh, and so then tap it again.
Yeah, so you can always tap from 21. So instead of from 20, that reduces the risk of booming it quite a bit. And you do have some drops, but for me, for example, like the first one for me to hit 22 was my 7th or my 8th item. So there is still a good chance that just none of this even hits, right? And I think
obviously.
because yeah, and I think because you know that you'd rather settle for 21 so that you at least have a really good piece, and I do
Yeah,
get that.
exactly. Yeah.
So like for the Berserk then the ring, I could see that because then if you do hit 21, you can already equip them, and the 2 set bonus would already like probably improve what you have. And also because the ring is also high level, right? So I do understand that. It just you have to be okay with the follow-up plan. That basically means that now you're waiting for a second one until you can kind of finish, right?
Yeah, which can take a lot of time, I guess, but I
Yeah,
don't mind. But yeah.
yeah. It could be in 2 weeks and it could be a year, right? That's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm saying like you're probably going to be, if you're already clearing the other bosses, you're probably going to be done with maybe not done with Eternals, but you're probably going to have like 2-piece 22 Eternal before you see like full pitch, especially before you see full patch 22 if you're going that route, just because there's guarantee drops from those other bosses, and the pitch is just so whimsical. It's just so, yeah, so RNG, right?
Yeah, when is it even worth switching out into pitch? I thought it was like 3 or 4 set when you get the crit damage. Was it before that already? Because you do
Well,
lose boss and IAD from Golux, right? I don't
yeah,
have
the
a
boss.
book.
Yeah, the Boston ID is pretty massive. So you'd have, if you could switch the destroyed heart, you can switch out earlier because the destroyed heart as potential has like 77 attack and also 30% boss
Yeah.
and 30% IED. So then you can switch out pretty quickly, but the boss is only the heart only lasts 20 days. So you'd have to have a lot
Yeah.
of hearts to continuously keep that up. So typically people don't switch out until your I think 6 set is like the earliest, or 7 set. That's like when you
Okay.
when it's really
Yeah.
worth, because then you hit like the second critical damage one, and that's also usually when you have like a decent amount of hearts so that you can counter that IED or that boss damage loss. There's some classes that have like really high base IED and a lot of total damage, like if you have all your FAMs and all that stuff, then maybe the value of those two isn't as high. So you have to be like low critical damage class, high IED class, and high damage class, and then you could switch out a little bit earlier, maybe on like 4 or 5 set. But even then, most people would be switching out of 22 Golux, so you'd have to have the pitch be 22 as well to be able to counter it. Just because of the even the base stats of the belt. The belt is barely well, it's an improvement definitely for the Lucid belt, right? But it's not by that much because the base attack of the spear belt is so high. So you're mainly beating it out with hopefully with the set bonus, but mainly with the flame.
Yeah, the flame is pretty good since it's not a Golux flame, right?
Yeah, and it's level 200 as well, so it's like
a
bunch of tiers higher and a quality rank higher, yeah. But to say, yeah, so if you have the belt at 21, I would say I think that's a pretty good backup to make it so that you can go for 22 on the belts. But I would make sure that you have at least like 4 to 5 set of 21 stars. But the cool thing is that if you have Berserk or Ring, you can move those in immediately. Because even at 21, the Ring is going to be better than like a 22 kind of treasure, or than a 22 Meister, or than a 22 Reinforced.
Yeah, I've Kana. Yeah, it's pretty low.
But Kana, but you typically have a whole bunch of Kana treasures to be able to make a 22. I see you're very strongly a 21 gamer, which I like that. But
I'm an advocate for it.
yeah. But at a certain point, it does become worth it to go for 22 because you're basically at the cusp of like making 22s or like fully finishing all of your potentials, right? Other than that, it's just like tapping pitched whenever you get it and hoping that you hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm contemplating if I'm even gonna tap it since Liberation is kind of like soon, like 4 months, I think. So I think I'm saving up to go like big on the weapon.
Yeah, I think for the weapon, most people save up somewhere like around 80 to 85 bill. That's a pretty much
it was like 100 and something.
If you just want like 3-line attack and a good flame, it's usually enough. But you know, you could be unlucky, of course, you know, and save up as much as you can. But you were mentioning like 22, so is that kind of your goal for most things, to just hold on to 21 and then replace out of it soon?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, I have 21 CRA But at this point, I'm getting Eternals, so what's even the point of getting a 22 and wasting my money?
No, that is a good
Yeah,
point. I mean, you
yeah.
would
But for the
yeah.
rings, I would do it. I think like Superior and Guardian Slime. I'm thinking about it, sending a
Yeah,
22.
because even if you do switch into pitch, they'll still be in your set,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. I'm wearing them anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're not going 21 or 22 on like the other pieces, it also gives you more resources to specifically dedicate to those two things, right? So you can also have a few more failures there and still end up with a successful project at the end.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too.
Forgotten saying I've been chatting with people in Discord about going full 22 accessories and 21 arcanes and just going Eternals. Yeah, if you can get into normal Kalos, easy Kaling like early on, I don't know if the jump to normal Kaling is going to be as manageable though if you're sitting on a whole bunch of 21s. But yeah, you'll be able to switch out of like into Eternals faster. It is kind of like a tipping point that we're at, right? Because you can. I mean, some people say like, well, why do you invest in Abzo if you're going to get to Arcane super quickly, right? That makes sense. But like, we're not quite at the point yet where it's like, oh, why invest in CRA? You got Eternals coming. But if you are clearing those bosses, and there's still some stuff that you can, there's still some damage that you could definitely upgrade, right? Like I would, in your situation, I would go ham on my emblem, right, and try to hit like a triple line attack there, with all the things in your. But again, you're already clearing Hard Saren, so you're also probably like, well, what if I get that? Then I want to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's my thought
Yeah,
process actually.
yeah.
Like, but what if I'm already clearing? Like, and it's not bad. I
Mhm.
mean, strand line, okay, could be boss, I think, or no ID.
Could be
Okay,
ID or
that would be
attack, yeah.
better. Yeah,
Yeah, or
but
damage
okay,
percent would also be better,
yeah,
but yeah, there's a few outs. In some situations critical rate, but for a buck that wouldn't be very useful. Yeah, so I understand you're like floating between heaven and earth a little bit on all of those things, right? Your stuff is good and it's good enough. And yeah, I always advocate for functional upgrades. If you are though in the situation where you are, you can do all that content. You want to jump into pitch. I would, as much as it would suck, I'm very inclined to say make sure that pitch boss stuff then is like done so you can switch over.
yeah,
But you have the luxury of switching over when it's quote unquote unfinished at 21, and then you can already switch over and be there earlier, and then you could you could tap on a superiors if you want to afterwards to see if they actually become better, and then switch back. And if they don't, then you just stay with the 21 pitched, and then you just hope for more drops. But if you're going to be switching into Eternals pretty quickly as well, that's also going to make up for the fact that you aren't like full 22, or that you are switching into 21 pitch, because Eternal gear is also really strong, of course, because that shit's level 250. Those flames get pretty crazy.
What do people even do with Eternals? Like, do they get 3 set and then switch it out, or do they just get one piece?
If you get the hat at 22, then that's already strong enough to overcome the set bonus difference, just because of the level difference in the bonus stats.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then from there, what you can do is you could switch one piece at a time after that. But what most people will do is they'll try to get like if you get both other pieces like top and bottom to like 18 or 19, and then switch out from 1 set to 3 set kind of thing. But it's also because if you're liberated, right? If you're liberated, then you can switch, because the 2 set bonus for Eternal with the weapon. Yeah. So if you're not liberated yet, well, for you it's probably still going to be an upgrade, but that's because you're 1 star behind on the CRA. But it'll be less of an upgrade. Usually for the other 2 pieces, you could, I think, technically switch over if they're like 17, but then it's a very small upgrade, and then you kind of end up in the same situation if you're like switching 21s for 21s, where you could then tap, if you could tap the CRA to 22, maybe it would undo how good of an upgrade it is. But most of the time people will be comparing everything to 22 CRA, so if you're comparing to 21, it could probably switch out just like pieces one at a time if you have 17 star.
Yeah.
But you know, because the risk up to like 19 is very low of booming, and it's a considerable upgrade from 17 to 19. Most people go like 19 first, and then go on to potentials and everything. But yeah, people go pretty hard on the potentials and on the flames pretty quickly because it's the same like CRA that you have the trace every time, right? So
yeah, you can just.
if you hit a really good flame, if you hit a nice potential, then that helps like almost create like an extra star worth of damage on it as well. So then you can start switching a little bit lower. But yeah, that's kind of the strategy for people right now because the culling shares the what is it, the top and bottom with the shoulder, and then and then people tend to switch the shoulder last because then it breaks the one of the arcane set. But again, since if you hit on the shoulder, and again, the question here would be like, would you go for 21 because then it's already an upgrade for you, and then you know get like a full 21 set and then go back for 22s. That it would also reduce your initial bombing of stuff, right?
Yeah. 22,
which means you might be able to switch faster, and then you could also have a better overview, I think, on like how many pieces you have and whether or not it's a where your pieces of Kalos should go versus where your pieces of Kaling should go, because that's like kind of like the meta question is, do you do tops for one and bottoms for the other, or do you mix and match, or do you do one piece at a time, or do you do both at the same time, right? There's options there. But I guess if you're switching at 21, you're going to switch faster, and then you can just save up a bunch of pieces, and I kind of just see and just pick from whatever, you know. It's only the hat and the shoulder that are going to be separate. Or maybe there's another boss that comes out until then that has like pieces that you can use on more areas or something. I don't know if they're ever going to switch that, right? Maybe the next boss comes out and you can use the pieces on like shoulder, cape, and shoe or something, right? And then maybe that changes the options later on. That's kind of like the downside of being like super endgame and right on top of it, is that some decisions in hindsight could end up being later imperfect, even though at the time maybe they were perfect. You know, they were the best decisions you could make. So that's why people are also just always looking at KMS to see like what's going on over there, new boss, new content, what's
yeah, exactly,
what's good, because then you can start saving certain things for 6 months, and then you can have a huge advantage because of that. But yeah, I understand the overall situation, and I'm trying to hold true to my, you know, go for functional upgrades. So there's definitely mathematically what will make sense for you. What's your Saren team composition? Like, how many people are in there? How are you guys clearing super fast, or?
Yeah, we were at 6. We clear basically at what is it, noon, when she has like no power. We kill her before that, so it's not even one cycle.
Yeah.
So it's really fast.
I would look into just like splitting up your party then, honestly. Just to double you guys' chances of emblems, because it's not like they don't exist, but if you're in the waiting room with a whole bunch of people, it kind of sucks because it's cool to just stay as your group of 6. But what we're trying to look at is like have a group of 6 that does normal Kalos, easy culling together, and then split that party into 2 of 3 that like run their hard Saren somewhere throughout the week. Independently, yeah, it makes it run longer, but you know you're just gated, right? And the only way to really improve from here is if you're that strong and kill it that quickly, is you can give everyone double the chances of an emblem by splitting up the party. Unless, yeah, people are just like, I don't want those longer runs, it's too stressful, or I want to, you know, hang with the homies. Then if they really want that, then okay, you get last on the list for the drop then or something. No, I don't want to be too harsh on that, but you get to a point where it kind of sucks, where you have to like leave the homies again to have a reasonable chance of actually progressing through the game. I know I got really lucky with emblems with my party. Like I saw 3 emblems in the first 25 clears so far on my account. So there's a good chance now that I'm not going to see another one for a year, right? Like it's probably gonna the big draw comes out. I don't know how long you've been like because you have a nice collection of pitched in the inventory here, but I don't know how long you've been running these. So like my first source was like, just in general. Do you know how many clears you have in like the areas?
I can look in my achievements, but
yeah, exactly.
I've been running more than a year, like C10. But for Saren, like I'm already known for the guy just leaving the C10s to solo them for pitched.
Gotcha.
And they really, like, some of them hate that they can't clear comfortably, especially Saren. They just wanna kill it, like overkill it, and be done with it. But I'm more of a like, okay, let's make it a bit of a struggle. Maybe it's not guaranteed, but you know, if you get better hands, eventually it's guaranteed.
Yeah, the problem that I've found a lot is that when you get way stronger, you start losing hands because you just don't have to engage with the mechanics at all. You actually start getting worse at the game. So I think it's also to keep your hands fresh and to make sure that you don't int on like Kalos and Kaling. Splitting into smaller parties, I think, also helps to make sure that every single harder boss fight that you're doing is actually one where you have to pay attention and you have to be on. I've noticed that myself, like doing hard Dark Null and stuff, and being like, I know I have way too much damage. And then you start like just throwing lives at it, and suddenly you're on like your last life on like a 2-minute boss fight, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's like, yeah, I mean, I could just go back in afterwards, right? Like, it's not the end of the world, but I should probably still pay a little bit of attention because, yeah, it's a, I mean, you're wasting your time otherwise, yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's of course a discussion you have to have with your party. But we were like that for a while, where we just want fast runs. But then the runs got so fast, where it's like now it's kind of ridiculous. Like having a somewhat of a chance, you know, even 0 times 2 is still 0, but like having a very low chance times 2 of an emblem is way better. You know, it's like changing for drop rate from 400% to 800 or whatever the calculation is. We don't really know, I guess. But if you had the chance to do that, I feel like you should, yeah. Or you could try 1 week and say like, oh, maybe you didn't split up evenly, you know, maybe one party's a little bit too strong over another, maybe we need to reassess. You're still like, you're 6 guys that are still trying to get each other through it, right? So, if you have like one support, then you take like the strongest burster, and then like one of more DPS, DPM-y person, because that's the thing that we're looking at as well. Like we still need another person, and then we'll have to see how can we roughly split it up evenly to give everyone some reasonable chances of the drop. So you're the guy who was with them as well in C10A and is now soloing everything, and they miss you.
Yeah, I just said like, okay, I'll take your meals. You can have like the box, but I'll just take pitched, and I just solo them basically. Some of them are still like duoing.
Yeah, duoing is fine too. I think it's especially if you don't really like bossing, duoing is fine. It's so much faster, and you still have a good chance. You know, it's still like triple the chance compared to like a 6-man pug. So it's still still good, I think.
I mean, if you take meals with you and they hit blue, it kind of helps too. It's like a bit faster.
They'll have like a little bit of support as well, so you still get some synergy. Once you lib though, it gets a lot easier for those things. So even for the people who kind of like struggle and they duo, like Origin is kind of like a half liberation, I always say, because your total damage does go up by a significant amount, and you do have the iframe.
The inflation is real.
Every 6 minutes, yeah, and your hexamatrix, right, keeps growing. So that doesn't mean that every week you're just gonna get a little bit stronger. But you want to make sure that your hand stat doesn't drop, because then that nullifies any kind of damage increase that you're making,
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like with C10, my hands are already kind of dropping. Because I don't know. Sometimes I'm not even looking at my screen, and then I have like 3 lives left or something, and then I'll just start playing, right?
yeah. But then he's also like below 40%, so all you really need is like 1 good burst and a little bit of DPM, and you're probably out. So it's like, it's usually Dark Null, right? Like, or I had this week I had to do double Vihela on both of my characters, because one, because I dropped from 5 to 4 skulls on the last bar, and I was like, oh, I'll try to cleanse, but then you have to go down to 1, and then something funky happened and it actually died out. It's like, oh, I should just stay on 4. Like, this is really, it's a stupid time waste. But then I went back in and I killed it again in like under 6 minutes. So it's not like or like 5 minutes or something. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but it is like, well, you know, if you're on limited time and your time is pretty valuable, then you want to make sure that you get your stuff done. So, but with the whole because I think that was one of your main questions, right? Is like, do I need to upgrade now? Is it okay to switch into 21 pitch? Is that still... Because I think what will happen is if you try to get all of these pitches to 21, If the belt already went, there's a good chance the other 3 all don't make it. Like you can get a 22 source, of course, right? If you get a 22 superior.
Yeah.
So, 22 pendant, 21 sauce will be used as your secondary pendant, over the daybreak, right? So
Yeah.
it'll be used immediately, even with the set
Wait,
bonus.
is it better though, since it's 22? And
Yeah,
it breaks my Dawn set.
yeah, but it breaks your Dawn 3 set, right? Which doesn't have a bonus stat, or it doesn't have like the ID or boss damage or anything like that, right? So just
That's 2
stats.
set. That's 2 set. It's boss, some attack, so it's not. Yeah, okay, it's not that big.
If you hit like the berserk, and then you lose that one, but then you switch out for the 2 pitch, so then that nullifies, because I believe 2 pitch is 10% boss, so then you just get that back basically. It's basically the same set bonus, you just replace where you get it from.
Yeah.
A
A little bit more attack.
Yeah, and 4 set would be really nice, but yeah, I think 4 set switching for you would be definitely damage decrease, because it would require for you to switch the belt out, and then you drop superior completely. So I don't think you're quite there yet, so you might have to sit on that belt for quite a while. I got a belt drop first as well, but I've blown up my first 10 belts trying to go for 22. So 21 I would have had like 4 belts, but like yeah, none of them made it to 22, so sometimes that made me think maybe I should have settled on 21.
People always get so excited when they get pitched. I'm like a doomer. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna boom anyway. So
we'll see. For belts, I had like 3. I had 3, so I was like, surely I can hit here. But I like 3 on one character, 4 on another character. It's like it's gotta hit. Yeah, something's gotta hit. It's like nope. Yeah, it's still pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you couldn't even. It's possible that you don't even see 18 and that it just goes. So, yeah, I mean, there might be a shining in the next update, right? Because Korea had one in next update. Otherwise, probably around the summer.
Yeah, March.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to wait for that. I mean, it'll save money, but typically, pitch rating room means that as soon as you get a pitch, you kind of just like hit it instantly, just to see if it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know how you are with money and your income and stuff.
I mean, I have bossing meals. They clear 2 of them clear C10.
Okay.
And the rest are like Lomium meals, like 3 Lomium meals. And 2 C10 meals. So the income is okay. I think it's like 7 or 8 bill. And then obviously I grind, right, and I do my main too, so it's like a decent income.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say C10 meals, is like you do like a pickup group, or you run with your friends? Like you run as
sometimes when a friend they don't want to solo or something, or like duo, and I just join them. Like they can solo. I mean, I guess they can if it's a 20 minutes fight. But that takes too long, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But usually we always run like every week, right? So I just join like a duo or a solo. And then you get some money from it. And I mean, they're done with arcanes now, both. So I don't need boxes anymore. So it's just for the ring box then.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right.
Where's your? But they're like. What, like 30k stat or something?
Bowmaster is like 38k, I think. It used to be my main. It used to be Pathfinder. I made it a Bowmaster. Nightwalk is the freshest. That one is 35k. Full arcane though. The 17 star.
Why is your Legion rate power so low then?
I don't. My okay, listen. I hate doing. I don't like Legion, so everything is done with like the random events, like the strawberry event, the food storage. I just don't.
Yeah, but I mean even the Bowmaster and the Nightwalker, because like look, my Mihail has 26.7k, and your Bowmaster has 27.5, but my Mihail is level 250, so that's 6 levels difference, and my Mihail is like 28k. So if you're 38k, where's that stat coming from?
I don't know, like legendary potentials and stuff.
Max symbols?
Yeah. I have symbols. And the Nightwalker also has Sonian symbol, level 7 or something.
Yeah. Because
I
like
don't know
my
if
marksman
you
has
have
like
max
good.
symbols.
My marksman and my hero have like max symbols and good pots, but those are like 40k. Those are like where your buck is at in score.
Don't you get raid power from Star Force though?
From Star Force, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're
But
all 17 stars.
yeah, okay. Yeah, my
I don't
Mihal
really.
has some 18s and some 19s, yeah.
I don't know how much that counts though. Like, I don't know the calculation. But...
Once you get into the realm, well, it's like every 60 or so, all of your Star Force goes up in value. So, it changes and it becomes like 40 and then 30, I think, once you get really high. Once you get like closer to like 400 Star Force. But if you have like in the beginning, it's like 60, 120, 180, 240. At every one of those intervals, all of your Star Force goes up in value, and then your entire raid power goes up, and then that just means that you make more coins. I mean, you have a healthy, amount of coins, but if you wanted to go like hard grinding, you could run through that pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about like maybe during a Star Force event, I just do all the mules, give them some Star Force until 10 or something, or like 11, I don't know. I probably
Yeah,
squeeze out a lot of raid power.
I would. So one thing I would say about that is if if you have characters that made it to level 200, you probably have a bunch of those, and they don't have like Star Force stuff yet. I would just do like a few Zakum here and there, maybe a few Horntail here and there, just to get like the accessories, just to get the slots filled, and then wait for a 1+1 event, because then you can basically get to 12-star at half price. That's a really cheap way of getting a lot of Legion raid power. Because Legion raid power doesn't seem very important because it's kind of like a hidden number, but Legion coin gathering and being able to buy things in the Legion shop is really important. And wouldn't it be cool if when you liberate, you can buy like for a few weeks like sets of Black Flames in there and not be like completely destitute on your coins? That would be cool, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
See if you
Although,
can hit something. Or Eternals first, see if you hit something.
that's true, yeah. Although events are pretty generous lately.
This last one was pretty crazy with, I'd imagine in your account you had plenty of stuff to just throw that on.
Yeah, I spread it like all over the meals.
Over the meals?
Did
you not hit like some crazy flame on your pitched?
Yeah, I had a decent flame on my belt.
Mm-hmm. You say decent is like a 120 and 6, or is it?
Let's see.
People have different definitions.
It's 96. No, not 96. The other way around. 69. No, 96. Jesus Christ. Main stat, and then 6% all stat, and then some attack power.
Okay.
Like 3 or something. That's okay. That's nice.
Yeah. I hope for your girlfriend, you know the difference between 96.
Yeah.
Back to back in the fetal position and bed.
Keep switching it around,
Yeah. Try something new. This Valentine's we're trying something else. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, if that's enough base income for you, because you're getting into the realm, especially if you're gonna do Eternals, where things can get really expensive. I heard some horror stories of people spending like 180 bill on one Eternal during a 30% off and not even hitting. Like, just that money's just out on one piece.
Yeah, because
I don't know how much you grind, basically. If you grind a lot, then you make up for it, right? Like, Bossing Mules is an obvious way of making money, but if Bossing Mules takes you away from grinding on your main character, which is when you want to actually do, and you make like a decent income there anyway, that all adds up if you put a lot of hours in, much more than you could be making off of like Bossing Mules up to Lotus and Damien. So if you feel like you got a good balance there, then yeah, there's no reason to really switch it,
I mean, depends, I guess, on mood, but usually, like, lately, if it's not really a big event, I guess, it's maybe 1 to 2 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Really big events, I probably spend in the evening more time to grind with, Meso Gear and coupons.
You could jump around, right? It's kind of lazy if you're in the right map.
Shangri-La's kind of sucks, though, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
For a book. But it's really lazy, so I don't mind. You can just watch like
Yeah.
YouTube or something else.
Mm-hmm.
No jumping around though. No jumping around.
Okay. Do you still need so I'm just looking at the pictures. Do you still need the full crit in your Legion setup for mobbing? Or do you have like another setup as well with more bonus EXP?
No, that's for Lord of the Deep, right? But right now I'm not really farming with Lord of the Deep, so I could technically go into XP. But if you're farming with Lord of the Deep, it's really nice, because I don't have any other sources of crit rate, right? Because during bossing, you get 100% crit rate from just hitting the boss.
Yep.
And during mobbing you don't, because you don't have the aggressive stance. Which
Yeah, but when you're...
proc.
If you build a mobbing setup, you could put, you could put some crit rate in hyperstat, you can put crit links in, right?
Yeah.
That don't really take damage out, and then with a little bit more, because is your crit that low, or you're going like min-maxing? You have some crit, right? Like, don't you get some base crit? Because you have 65 here in the picture. Is that with your... And here we have 90.
I want to look.
You have 90 visual here. Well, I'm just trying to think, because, if it is that bad, you want to get all the EXP you can get, right?
Yeah, so wait, let me look. I'll switch. I have 72% without the Legion. I don't know what the source is. Let me look. Most of it is just skills.
Yeah.
Some basic, and then from Legion assigned members. And then a little bit from hyperstat. So everything, basically almost everything, comes from either passive, or 80% is from passive and Legion alone. And the others is just filled up with hyperstats.
And if you switch your mobbing setup, can you make the puzzle so that you hit 100% and still... and see if you can move into EXP as much as possible while still hitting 100% crit. Because I assume you have got, like, decent sharp eyes extra.
Yeah.
And you can go into, like, a Phantom Link and even maybe the Explorer Archer Link, right? Because there's a few things that doesn't really help you as much if you're just Lord of the Deep flash jumping through things.
Yeah, wait. So I have a lot of stat into the bonus XP from the hyperstats, right? But that's probably way less that you get from Legion. So if I shift that into crit rate and then shift the blocks into bonus
maybe
XP,
like
it's probably more.
Maybe like 1 point out of bonus EXP in the hyperstat gives you a whole bunch of crit rate, and then allows you to move way more over in the Legion. Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah,
because that last level is probably like 8 or 9 levels or something.
Yeah.
So that means that you can get more bonus EXP out of the Legion grid. Yeah, maybe a little bit of optimization there, because these levels already take forever, so there's no reason to make them last even longer than they need to, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you put all the crit, I would try to keep the 15 on EXP and hyperstat, because if you're level, I think you can do that. And then put all the other ones at like, put crit rate at like 7 or 8, and then the other ones at like 10 or 11. You can probably make that as a distribution, right? Where's your current hyperstat? Oh yeah, you just have the bossing one here. Something like that should work, and then just throw all the crit links in there, and then all the damage ones, crit damage, whatever, that kind of stuff, and then see how much crit rate you're missing. I'd be surprised if you need more than like 15% crit rate or something.
Yeah.
At the most, I think. So that would give you 15 would be like up to 40 per block, right? So 25 on bonus EXP, so like 6% more bonus EXP. I don't know, we're kind of like splitting hairs here, but you are pretty far into the game, so you that's the point you get to, right?
Yeah, although I kind of forgot that I have my Nightwalker too, and Bowmaster, and they kind of need it though, since I was really lazy with fixing the crit rates there. Okay. And Bowmaster is really nice if you have overcapping crit rate for your vicious shot.
Yeah, but that's on the bossing setup, not on the mobbing setup, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But it is possible that for like the Nightwalker you need it as well. And if you need a different amount, you can always go into the third setup. I mean, it is, it does cost some coins, but it does unlock it for quite a while. And we are, once the the summer
get it
event
for
hits,
free, right?
yeah, we should be able to get all of
Yeah.
them for free. So it's not like you're going to be spending on that forever now to upkeep that. So it should be, maybe at most like 1,000 coins or something between now and summer to get that locked. I don't know. You're getting it to the point where you want to be optimizing, right? It's one of those things where if you make all the upgrades properly and you do them optimally, like you did, like you got a whole bunch of 21 laying around. Although I probably personally would 22 CRA before 21 Arcaning, just because 19 to 21 Arcane is so expensive. So I feel like 22 CRA there financially is more gains for the same amount of money. But I mean, you're here now, so you don't have a fucking time travel machine to go back. It does. It would, like, if you optimize all the other stuff within your account, then that means that you can get more efficiency out of the meso that you spend and out of the upgrades that you have, right? Because everything just synergizes together. So switching all of the other stuff around a little bit and making sure that that's all optimal will also help you stay 21 on everything and not feel like you're getting too far behind on all the people who have like full 22. But the main thing is just like, yeah, if you're trying to get into like extreme black mage, you're trying to move to like chaos kalos and stuff like that, then yeah, if you're not full 22, then that's just such a huge extra burden. Because, yeah, just one star, is like, what is it, like 15 attack, 17 attack on some things. You add all of that up over your account, and it's just so much.
Does Extreme even give like a higher chance of a batch or what? Oh, and also the fragment. Yeah.
Not that we know, but like the fragment is the main thing, yeah. But it's a beefy boy, and you only have half an hour to fight him as well. So and he does more damage on skills and everything. So it's a rough fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I think for all the other stuff, you're on track, right? I know what's your ID.
Yeah. So, what I was thinking is, like, I don't think it's, like, worth... It's, like, still worth to, like, invest more in, like, meals. Like, okay, sure, I can make 2 more Lumia meals, and then I get my investment back in, like, 4 months or something. But maybe, in 4 months... Yeah, it's... Who knows,
I usually organically bring characters up so that I don't feel that I am investing much into it. So, like, if I have nodes past a certain point, I'll put some nodes in. All of the cubes and all the flames I get from my weeklies will all just go to a character. And then with an event, or doing symbol dailies or monster park combination, the character will gain some levels. And then when it gets to the point where it's like, well, now it's just ready, now it's like 14, 15k stat or something, it should be pretty reasonably be able to do Lotus and Damien, then I just do it. And then it's like, okay, this character still needs help, then I can fund it a little bit more. But if it's fine, then it's fine there, and then I stop funding it. That way, if you do ever feel like, oh, you don't have time in a week, and you don't run on the character, you don't feel like, oh, that's another week I have to run to make my money back, because you don't really invest that much direct meso, but you do invest items that have some value, just not for your other characters. So that's what I usually do. So use whatever resource you have spare lying around, things that are, timing out, that are about to expire, that kind of stuff. And, you know a lot about the game already, so for every new boss meal, you can kind of cut corners as well, and you can see opportunities and drops and stuff like that. But yeah, main things I do is, like, try to get him in a guild, right, with at least 2 guild skills maxed. That's a lot of free damage. Get some ID familiars, and maybe get reinforced Gollux if you want to invest that time, because it's very, very strong for how quickly you can get it. I do get Gollux. Yeah, I just do trades. Sticks. And if you combine that with getting all of you probably get a decent amount of hard cubes and solid cubes from your account, because I've been doing that for like a long time. So now I have like 11, 12 characters that can do a lot of bosses. So I get over like 100 solid cubes per week. So I'm always like looking like, what would I even do with these things? Oh, sorry, the hard cubes. Sorry, I always feel like hard sounds better than solid, but it's the other way around. It's kind of annoying. But I probably get like 10 or so solid cubes a week, I think, and like 100 hard ones. And then, anywhere from like 5 to 10 flames. That one's really flimsy. So you can like evenly start bringing everything up without feeling like your crystal meso has to go there, so that your crystal meso stays gains for your account, pretty much. and that that can all basically just pile up for your main for those insanely expensive projects, and that most of the other resources keep funding your characters, even though that's numbers you know most people don't count, right? Because you can't really say like, oh, I got a flame drop that's worth 9 mil or whatever it is. That's a little hard to say because 9 mil could be spent everywhere, and a flame can only be spent as a flame. So it is more rigid. So
True.
yeah. What was your question? How did we get here?
Funding
of bossing mules. Yeah. Well, like I said before, like this is the it's a time balance thing. So if you feel like you're maybe grinding a little bit less, and there is more time in the week available where you have like a half hour, but you don't want to like start everything up and set everything up to train a half hour, but you could just jump on a boss mule for a half hour and make a bill and then some. If you find that happens with your schedule, it could be a good idea to make another boss mule. The main thing I just look at is, you know, what are events, burning events, stuff like that, or easy EXP events like the strawberry farm, for example, and then just use those to push another character forward and kind of see if I like the character. If you end up not liking it, or like end up liking another character more, like I said, it's very easy to just kind of like abandon a character and just switch it out. If it's, you know, more organically funded. If it's more force funded, then it'll feel bad, because then it's like, well, this was supposed to be a project that, you know, earned itself back in 3 or 4 months, and now I start over from zero, and then you feel forced to play a character for a long time, and if you fall out of love with the character, then it's not, that doesn't feel good. So I protect myself in that way, but I don't know if that helps for you personally to see that as an option.
I used pick a class that already maybe had like stuff when I played on it, and then I went, okay, this already has like Abso or something, and I'm like, okay, this one is easy to work with, and then because like some of my random mules they just have it, because back in the day you had the random carries, right? You don't have to do 5%. But so I kind of prioritized the mules that have Abso already, because they're really easy to work with. So I don't know, I just pick a class and then just go with it, I guess. So I kind of do feel like forced to make it work if I pick them. Yeah, I don't know. But since I'm not gonna, like, I think if I hit 280, I'm gonna like chill back more. So I think bossing mules are like more. They will give me more money than my main wheel, I guess.
Yeah, the value per hour or the value per half hour, I guess, on them is just really, really good. And you can probably make a bunch of characters or get very quickly from, because you've got like some level 3 link skills, right? They're already level 210, so from there to 220 is just a matter of like maybe like a, you know, like a week and a half or something of just symbol dailies on Monster Park, and you're probably 220 even without an event. Like, but you could definitely use a strawberry event to get some 220s, maybe a few 225s, and then you can very easily get at least up to like, you know, like CPAP and Akechi, even if you're not doing a Lotus and Damien yet.
Yeah.
And then you can get some drops here and there. You know, maybe you're using like a Buccaneer weapon that's not fully upgraded. Maybe you get like the Akechi weapon, which is basically an Absolab weapon. I don't know, like there's options there, right? Or you hit up like Beanmark, and then you can make some upgrades. There's just so many options. But if you do feel like your schedule is changing to like shorter amounts of time available, or you're not going to be grinding as much, then bossing mules is really good money. The question of like, you know, what's going to happen in Korea, and are those changes coming through and everything, we just don't know yet. So you could wait a bunch of time, or you could just kind of keep playing, I guess, which is what I do.
Yeah, me too. Right now I'm using Strawberry to like make those final characters like 200, because not everyone's 200. But I can also use it to make more meals, I guess, like better meals. But I really hate some characters, so...
Don't do those. Like, never... If you don't like bossing on a character, then never force yourself to make it into a bossing meal, because you're gonna do the character last, or you're gonna not do the character or hate your whole time while you're on there. Don't do that to yourself. Like, there's too many classes to do that. I would even say, like, make 3 more bucks as bossing mules before doing that. Because we have enough character slots, right? You could just make extra Buccaneers if you want to. If you really like the class, if you know the class inside out, Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Okay,
because you might be able to do, and you have hands with the class, right? You might be able to do the same bosses with like way less stat than other characters just because you know the class inside out. And if that's what it takes for you to make that weekly income, fuck it, dude.
Yes, I mean that's why I transferred my Pathfinder into a Bowmaster. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
that class made me so sad. So I
Yeah, there's
just
something
spent
about
some money.
Pathfinder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you invest a
So
lot into it, and then you expect a certain amount back from it. And if you don't not getting that, if there's a disconnect, then yeah, so you have to change something, right?
Yeah, I mean I even got new weapon and then new notes for it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm way happier, so that's better.
Yeah, that's a worthwhile investment then. Yeah, job changing in general is something they're kind of moving away from, right? There's no job coin anymore in any of the shops, and with 6 job like fully reset, so that's a rough one.
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna bonk it to 260
Mm-hmm.
and do the just unlock the origin skill. I don't know if it's good, but I think it's fine.
Can't be bad, right? I mean, it's extra bind, iframe, and stuff. If you have good funding on it, you might get up to. I mean, you could, that's the other thing, right? Is a little bit of a future thing that you want to think about as well. Is that if you are going to be switching into pitch, which, again, like I don't want to tell you that you're like super close to pitch, but I also don't want to demotivate you and saying that you still have like ages to go. But eventually you want to get.
You never know with the casino.
No, yeah, well, they could hit, yeah. But the problem is if you're going to stand on 21, then your definition of hitting changes, so you're more likely, quote unquote, to hit. But it's going to take you on average longer to finish because the 21s you have, those could be your 22s as well, but you never give them the chance to be that. So on average, it's going to take longer, but it's going to be way more secure the way to get there. But what I was going to say is that you will eventually want black hearts and you'll want backups. So you also kind of want to look for your account in terms of like, can you make hard lotus mules basically?
Yeah.
So you have more hard lotus clears per week, almost to the point where you just do like hard lotus and then everything else you just do like the easy version, even Damien, to not cut too much into your time in the week basically, so that you can start getting those backups because that will become a valuable resource. Like your time is the most valuable resource, right? And you're just capped on how many lotuses you can do. So yeah, if you do unlock like 6 job, I think, and you're around like 40k stat, I think that's a really good point where you're like hard lotus definitely, and then maybe just the easy version of everything else. What I started doing with my fire poison is like hard lotus and easy lucid. I could probably do normal, but it just like it takes so much longer. But easy lucid is actually really fast, and it's a crystal that's about the same as normal slime, a little bit more. So it's like an extra 170 mil, so that's pretty nice. And then I just do like the normal and the easy version, whatever of whatever else up to like hard hilla, and that's like a good amount of money, and that's still decently fast. But I don't have my origin skill unlocked yet on that character, so you know that's still slowing that. Yeah, it's still slowing that guy down. Well, it was just my hyperburn. I want to get it to 260, and I didn't want to do a whole lot of things after that. So I've been getting my Monster Parker medal. So right now I think it's like 262.5 or something. So it just keeps going. I mean, but now I'm almost done with Monster Park.
Yeah, I mean if you have like MVP and like 2x components, it takes like 3 hours or something. I mean depending on how good your rates are, right? But it's not that long.
No, it's actually not too bad. But if you're only doing like 10 minutes a day, then it's a lot of days.
Yeah. I was doing that first, and then I just like okay, I'll just do it. And I didn't know about the Abyss event that it worked for the stones. Else I would have done that too.
But oh yeah, the Abyss, yeah, yeah, that was definitely something I missed out on. But I also don't want to like cap on the stones and then still do a whole bunch of dailies and weeklies after that on the character, because then I feel like I pushed it a little bit too hard. But that's probably a little bit too min-maxy. But because I still want to do symbol days. I feel like if you're getting to past 260, that you should at least go for like max arcane symbols. I feel.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I did that for 250s, but then, you know, the game started just throwing 250s at you, and it's like, I can't handle doing that on all of these. But, like, 260, I feel like that's you want to max out your arcane symbols. So I'm still going to be doing that, and then the grandest daily, you know, so hopefully I get my origin skill before the end of that. But yeah, if you have just, like, one character that you're doing it on, I think it's more of a motivator, like, today I'm just going to do that and knock that out, or, like, in 2 days in a weekend or something. But I've got like 2 characters I need to do it on, and 2 other characters I kind of want to get to 255 to start liberating, and it's a lot of projects. So, you know, pick your priorities. Don't spread yourself too thin, I would say about that. But yeah, bossing mules, it'll just make money back for sure. If you even make like 220s with Strawberry Farm and just like Monster Park, symbol dailies, your way up to like 225, that's a very solid level for like a Lotus and Damien mule. But initially it might only be like, you know, like I said, like Akechi and CPAP. It will still be good money. And then as you get more nodes in there, as you get some more drops in there, as you get all of the cubes and all the flames from your account on there, you'll very quickly get to being able to do Lotus and Damien on there as well in a very reasonable time, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, so build up to like a total of like... Now you have like 6 in total, so like build up like a total of 8 or something. Kind of see how that feels.
Yeah, I'm making my Luminous right now and Bishop. Luminous still had...
Sorry,
yeah.
go for it. No, go for it.
My Luminous apparently still had like a Ghost Ship badge, so I felt forced. I felt forced to make something out of that one.
If only the Bishop had that one, that would be nice.
That would be crazy, yeah, but it sadly doesn't. Luminous is fun though. It's fine.
Yep, I think it's fine. The bossing on it was surprisingly a lot better than I thought it was going to be when I played it a little bit. I mean, I only did up to CRA. I'm not like a top bosser on there, but I mean that is where the money starts coming in, right? For new bossing mule, just 3-door, and if you can do Vellum like immediately, that's like what is it, like 400 mil, 300 something, you know. And then you throw H-Mag in, which is a lot easier now, right? You could just like duck the blue attack. That made that whole boss fight so much simpler. So that combined, that's like easy 450, 500 mil or something.
Yeah, I mean for 3 or 4 doors, it's like just get ID and then like a little bit of main stat, and it's kind of easy. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people I noticed throw like, or like, oh, how many nodes are throwing? Like 1,000, 2,000. I'm like, bro, just throw like 150 and you could get very far
ID, bro. And
yeah, if your Legion is good and you got your Link skills, and then you make sure your ID isn't trash, you throw like 100 to 200. I would say like 100 is like a CRA mule, 200 is like up to CPAP and Akechi, and maybe like 300, 350 you got a Lotus and Damien mule. I wouldn't really throw more at it. If a character needs more, then you can always throw more at it, but I would go on the lower end, say how far you get, and if you get the clears in the desirable time, boom, you're done, move on to the next one, right? Because again, if you overfund, it's going to take longer for it to be profitable. So why do that, you know? And not every character needs the same amount. You can't just say, this is how much I'm going to spend per character, because for some characters it might be way too much, and for other characters it might be way too low, and some characters might get lucky, and some characters might get unlucky. You need to evenly distribute it according to what the character needs, you know?
Yeah.
But if you got a few characters on your end... Yeah, what I was going to say before is just don't add like 6 bossing mules in like one go, in like one big funding wave, and spend like all of your time doing Helix exchanges and doing Absolab carries, because you do see that. And then you got a whole bunch of bossing mules, and now every single week you have to do all of those characters because you just like sacrificed, you know, like a month of your life to build these guys up. And then there's a lot of extra pressure on it. And then if you can't, or you know something happens, or you don't want to play for a bit, then you get that FOMO is already so huge in this game. You don't want to build up even more FOMO than you need to, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't really doing that though. Like,
okay, that's good. Yeah.
I'm too lazy for to even consider that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I even got a guy in the guild who's now, like, all of his bossing mules, like, his top 12 characters are all, like, full arcane now. Trying to go for 18-star arcane, full superior, like, you know. But, yeah, you could do Hard Lotus and all the things below, basically, on all of them, like, within half an hour, so that's... or something within 20 minutes. But he uses, like, 1G skill, so that he can use, like, the critical damage one week, and then the other week he uses the boss damage and the damage percentage one. Because that's like even, and then he doesn't have to AFK on the character throughout the week to get his skill back.
Yeah, bro is gaming, but soon, hopefully,
that's a big plan.
We got that change.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But it's the change is that if you log off, that your G skills don't reset, right?
I thought the change was that you can just be offline. Or you have to be online on a character, but it doesn't matter which one.
Oh, okay. I didn't register that in my head, but that's possibly true. That would be massive. That would be massive.
Maybe I'm
I think that's how it should be, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll double check on that. Well, we'll see patch notes when they come around, right? There's no reason to really.
Maybe
It's
I'm
more
just
like one
sending
of those
propaganda
quality
now.
of. Yeah, it's a quality of life thing that it's not really going to change your life now, knowing whether or not that's coming exactly. So. Okay, we're doing a lot of talking around stuff, but I want to make sure that you feel like you have more clear answers to questions you had for your account. Do you feel like we're going in the right direction?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
actually, I think it's,
Okay.
it
So there's
is,
still topics where you're feeling like you could really use my input on. You have questions
I
on.
should probably have written some stuff down.
Well, I'll upload the session, so you can always listen back to it. Or we could recap really quickly. The one thing I'm looking at is you have some. You do plan to slow down at 280, but your drop in Meso gear is still very much like the lower tier set stuff, right? Like you have the reinforced Galax ring, which is of course very nice, but you are gonna probably with Lord of the Deep have like a lot of trouble killing properly in the higher level areas if you go there with this gear, right?
Yeah, right. So my plan is like, if I do switch out of the pitch, like the Golix, I can use my Golix for drop gear, right? Drop
Yes.
slash Meso gear.
Yes.
Because
good
it's
man, yeah.
already like 21, and then I feel like when I have that, I mean, I was testing yesterday actually. I should have like enough to like farm with Lord of the Deep again.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of cracked drop gear, right?
Yeah,
Makes no
yeah.
sense. But
Well, yeah.
I
So
don't.
yeah, there's two things with that. One is I think that is the right move, right? Some people make like really strong gear when they're already in a transition of switching out of really strong gear that could just be recubed, and I think that's a huge waste. But the second thing is that if you are switching into, you're gonna have to hit some pitch to know for sure that you're switching. Until you know that, you're not switching out of the superior, and until that, you are gating switching into that gear behind an extra wall because there's an extra if, and that if is a huge one based on RNG. So there's the downside that it could take you a long time to do that. But if you were already planning not to really go super hard past 280 and maybe go a little bit more in width rather than in depth for your account. And that's what I did too, right? I mean, kind of. Like, when I hit my first 280, it was like, okay, everything past 280 is like a shit show. Even though totems and stuff still existed then, and compared to now, it was probably actually decently good then. But at that point, it was also like, I'm going to, finally be able to go back to my first character that I want to play, to the Demon Avenger, because, it was reworked and it's much more playable now. And because you can still keep up to 80, there's no areas there, it's a different decision than now, right? Because now there's now there's Carcion, so the longer you wait to go to Carcion, the longer you make it so that you kind of get behind again on sack. But that's mostly if you want to do like the extreme versions of bosses, which are just, I mean, I don't know saying that your character is weak, but they're so unattainable, quite, damage wise. You want like 530 arcane sacred power, I think, for like max damage on extreme culling. But when are we ever going to be doing that, right? We want way more mastery cores. We want way more origin skills probably for that before it's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, culling is designed with origin in mind, right? Like 6 jobs. So.
Yeah, but like I don't know how many origin skills it's in mind with, right? Because we have a whole lot of space in that hexamatrix. On the origin side, I was expecting like the master cores is only 4, right? And then the boost nodes, all 4 is already there. And then the stat ones go up to 6, but that'll probably take like one. Even if you get one every half year, that's another 2 years until those are built out. But the origin skills, are we gonna get some passives? Or are we gonna get even more keys to throw on our keyboard somewhere? That's probably what the combination key was for. Prepare us for all of the skills that are coming there. All of our buffs are going to have to go on the combination key, I guess, and then all of the active attacks on our keyboard. But there's that jump in damage is just so great that it is probably fine to take the smaller increments that you can get. And functional upgrades. So we'll look for the switching. I keep but for the dropper gear, I do agree with that. But since you're not switching over super quickly, probably to the new area, there's a huge value for your main if you just keep doing like half-hour coupon or maybe a little bit longer. You know, you do your simple dailies, your MPE, you try to get all of the big EXP dailies on your level 280. You'll still get good daily progress, and then you can use the rest of the time to like unlock 6 jobs, build out boss mules, build out your legion a bit more. Yeah, that'll be good for your account for sure. If you don't feel like trading as much, then the bossing mules will still keep a very steady income of cash, and you're mainly doing bossing on your main, so you'll still get backups there. So your drop rate is good, right? You have like the full. If you're opening a box, what's your full drop rate?
415.
Yeah, you got 415.
I'm kind of hyped for the preset changes though, because that means I can finally switch out my inner ability to do something useful, you know.
Yeah, well, you keep this one. You can finally make a damaging one, right?
Yeah, the bossing one. Yeah,
the bossing. Well, you got
actually
415.
Gonna be
that's with. That's with a bishop probably with holy symbol or?
Yeah, I have bishop in party.
So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna say I'm gonna guess like 4 or 9 because of your numbers, but it's an extra 6%. Yeah.
You also have the hidden 20 from what is it? Creep pendant. I don't know if it actually does something, but
yeah, all we could do is just hope that it does and wear it, right? Not much more we can do, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth. Yeah, switching my better making separate drop gear now until I switch out.
No, I don't think
it's kind of like. Yeah, it's kind of why I like the the HP nerf that we had, and the XP nerf.
Yeah,
because it makes you able to actually do this, you know.
Yeah, to actually kill with Lord of the Deep. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to it. On one hand, people are like, oh, but yeah, the top end EXP is going down, but it does allow people to go into the higher level areas much quicker, where the EXP is just a lot higher. Like some people were saying, like if you were like toteming on totem rates on like smaller maps on like Arcus, is like less EXP an hour than non-totem rates in Carcion. So it's like. It's more active though with training, but we do have the Urda Shower, and then we've got the Soul Janus coming in soon, which will be like another summon and bonus EXP. So
it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, the main question is just like the whole like the Meso thing, right? If Reboot is gonna get kicking the ball. Plus, if you're like end game, there are definitely some scenarios where the Legion artifact system is gonna end up costing you some damage rather than gaining you some, but for some classes it's gonna be a gain, so it's a little bit tricky. But we're gonna have to move some stuff around there because the extra crit rate, but it also comes with extra Meso obtain and extra drop rate, right? So I mean, it's not a huge amount, but it is something. So it'll change the balance as well. Well, it'll change the balance mostly for people who have like critical rate inner abilities, right? Because most of those classes will just get rid of it, except for like archers and maybe like not Cadenas. Who's not gonna get rid of it? I think probably just archers, because there's also some classes with low critical rate are also just gaining critical rate, like 5, 10, 15%. So
from the new Legion thingy or what?
No, just like passive like skill rework. I think they were looking at how much base critical rate all the classes have, and just noticed that some classes just have absolutely ass critical rate, like heroes and Demon Avengers, for example. Which it's, I mean, better late than never, that's like the Maple Story motto, I guess. That they finally found out that those classes have just way less crit than everyone else. Just to bring on everyone else up, I think to a certain level where you have like at least, I think 60% like passive crit or something, or 50% passive crit through your account, just to take a little bit of pressure off all of the other stuff. So we'll see some, hyperstat optimization, some inner ability changing, but that's going together with the preset, so most people are probably going to go into their inner abilities and go mess stuff up there anyway. Some link skills, some basically like Legion presets are probably going to have to move quite a bit around, unless you're at like 9.5k, because then you basically have everything capped anyway, so it's not at that point maybe you're moving 2 pieces around and you're done kind of thing. So are you thinking more like bossing mules and then more towards the Night Lord, the Night Walker, or are you thinking Hyperburn in Dreamer, and are you like?
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat the question? I was laughing, my bad.
Oh, sorry. Well, I guess I don't want to give like a leading question because it's like your session. I want to make sure that that all of the topics for you are getting out. I don't know if you have had anything else specifically that you wanted to. We see your familiars here. See your link skills. You probably don't have any questions on. I don't know if you're good on familiars or.
Yeah, I don't farm my familiars anymore. I mean, I could go for my bossing one. I see some people having like multiple ones. I'm like, oh damn, that's nice. But
yeah,
I can just
people with like multiple 40s
bother.
and 35s. Oh, that looks so good. Yeah.
But no, I'm happy with my healings, and they took like so long because I was in Limina for I don't know ages. I feel like. And I've seen enough. What is it? Hourglasses.
Yeah, I was gonna say the floating hourglasses and floating 4 baryons or whatever the fuck they're called for a lifetime. Yeah. Or if you do train another character, and they get into those areas, or you make 250s, right? You're gonna still probably be in Moonbridge for a bit if they're funded, or get up to 255 for Liberation, or up to 260 because you want to finish up and get the Origin skill. You could start like siphoning those familiars off towards your main later. That's always an option. But yeah, familiars is just really awkward system. It's very clear that it is not a KMS system that is like properly positioned within like the progression. It's very clearly something that's just kind of like smushed in, and it's like an option, but you have to make really tough calls. I think there is probably a breaking point where your 6 job is so built out with fragments that
that's worth again.
that the marginal gains from a fragment will actually start getting overtaken by the gains from boss damage. But I imagine that also goes together with having like a finished quote unquote like WSE that's like optimized there.
Yeah, I mean, I got this question too for some people, and I also like suggest them like just do your 6 job. You get way more FD gain, maybe unless you're like a Night Worker or something, or Night Lord. I don't know. From your fragments and farming endless hours for just a bossing familiar. Like it's guaranteed gains, right? So.
Yeah, it's more nothing is guaranteed in this game and in this life, but it's more guaranteed. Yeah, it's it's like going for like Sweetwater stuff almost, like versus going for pitch stuff. It's like eventually you want the pitch stuff, but the chances are just like so all over the place that if you focus on Commercy, then you know what you're gonna have at the end of a certain amount of time with like way higher accuracy. That's kind of like the difference.
Yeah.
Maybe not a one-to-one comparison.
Did you ask about Hyperburn again? Because you did ask me something.
Yeah, I don't know if you had like a plan already for that on like which character, because that's kind of like in the conversation of bossing mules as well. Is if you want to make a higher level bossing mule, especially if you want to make like a Hard Lotus, you don't want to make like a damaged Blackheart mule. Is it like you always kind of want to have like whatever event is coming, have your eye on at least one character where you're like that's probably the next one that's gonna get like a big boost.
Yeah, so I got my Luminous. I was already preparing at like this Hyperburn event, but it's already like done. So it's kinda a waste. So I'm gonna do Luminous, just like manually do 2 dailies.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do my Bishop. I'm gonna Hyperburn that one because that one only has Node Stones.
Gotcha.
Like a couple of them. And the Luminous is done basically. Like Node Stones are already done too.
Yeah.
Superior, like full superior Golex. So I'm like, okay, I'll just level this one.
Yeah, that's that's levelable. And the Bishop is more like 220 to 225, like around that area.
He's 210, I think.
210. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I mean, even more possible gains from Hyperburn. Yeah, just get the levels. Don't do what I did and get the levels fixed before the event, so you don't start burning at 210 and then have to do 258 to 260, kind of losing some efficiency.
Oh yeah, you have to be 212, I think, right? So.
Yeah, the problem was that it was at the same time for the last Hyperburn. There was also the EXP change. So you had to like do the math to make sure that you ended up at the right level, and you didn't accidentally kill something and then gain too many levels and then go over again. Yeah, so it was. So I was just like, fuck it, I'll just do the extra level and I'll just figure it out. And it ended up being more than enough time, of course. If you just do your dailies, your symbols, you don't even need to really grind that much to work your way up from like 210 to 260. As long as you start day one and you evenly throughout the event do your stuff and regularly, then you're pretty much fine.
Yeah, I mean on Nighthawker it was 212 when I started it. I only did dailies on Monster Park, and it hit just 260 after, I don't know, maybe
within
month or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doable. Sometimes people ask like, where do I train at 225? And I'm like, you train at those? I don't.
You just do Monster Park.
I don't even know. Yeah, like I feel like between like 200 and 250, it's just like dailies, weeklies, and event exp. Like I don't even know if there's grinding anymore between those levels. Like 250 to 260, you probably have to put some work in. But yeah, up to 250, you just it's like event potions here, magnificent growth, HP select. What is it? EXP selection potion, EXP coupons now coming out a lot, or the tickets, right, coming out a lot now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it all just piles up to free levels. And there's always one character that you want to push that way, and then it's just like, oh, another 240, another 250. It just kind of keeps happening because you're at that point now, right, where the Legion, you're like finishing up those last levels, and then maybe a few more level 3 link skills, but guessing you have most of those, right?
Yeah, I think I calculated if I do Strawberry until the end, I should be like 2.
Oh, the Evan. You want to get your Evan level 3 if you can.
Yeah,
That's a big one.
I'm on it right now. I hate Evan, that's why I haven't done it. But I should have done this like ages ago.
Yeah, many people don't like the class, but it is even just for the link skill, and maybe the arc one as well. That's also a really good link skill. Like if you can get those two done, that'll be a nice. Yeah, Solus is it's basically 16% damage for mobbing and bossing for any class as long as you're just in combat. So it's like a really cheap link, honestly.
I didn't know it. I did level 3 actually. Because arc is pretty fun.
Yeah, I think as a boss meal arc also makes sense. Like you got your own, you got pretty big 2-minute burst now. Pretty easy to set up. You can get complicated with it, but if you can get over that bump with how much damage you need to just kind of like blow up the bosses, then you don't really need to get into like the animation canceling and all of the more tedious bossing on it. You could just like 2-minute burst, and just nuke everything kind of thing. And if you get strong enough, you could use like half your burst and then save the next half of the burst for the next boss and then kill that one with it. That's also the cool thing about having like slightly shorter cooldown skills, is that when you get strong enough and if you can kill things with half burst, now you can really fly through all the bosses. Or if you have 3-minute burst but you don't need all of the skills, then you can just use half burst, and just nuke all the bosses basically.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Arc is node heavy. Well, if you're going very burst heavy on just mainly killing them in the burst, then just the naked 5th job skills by themselves do a lot of damage. Like Beast does a lot of damage. Abyssal Recall does a lot of damage. Your hyper skill, spell bullets,
What's node heavy? Like you need like 500 or something, or what?
Well, it usually means like that it just takes longer to come online in terms of like how much damage comes from your boost nodes, or you're like very dependent on one skill node, and that one needs to be like leveled out, pretty much maxed out before your character comes online. So you're looking at like probably like double the nodes or something, like instead of what I said before, like the 100, 200, 350, that you're probably more looking at like 200, 400, 700 to 800, something like that. But it comes down to how much you want to min-max on your character. If you're having those really short boss fights, then it doesn't really matter what the level of your what your drive skills is, because you're not really going to be hitting those very often. You're going to be hitting them just to charge the spell bullets so that you can have your bonuses, but not so much for the damage output. Not as much, I guess.
Yeah, I was specifically asking for arc though. That doesn't.
I mean, I funded mine so long ago. I think I started. Did I start my arc before 5th job existed? Probably, right?
Oh,
yeah, this is
pretty bad.
A while ago. So when the 5th job came out, I was already in there. But probably like double or something. But again, you can always start lower and then see how the character does. If it performs the way you want, then move on. If it doesn't, then look what resource you have extra of. If it's extra money, upgrade some stuff. Is it time? Go for stronger gear. Is it nodes? Build up the nodes a little bit. Just use the resource you have available that's relative to your account the least valuable or the least in demand.
Yeah, I mean, when I was making my Corsair,
Mm-hmm.
that one requires a lot of node stones too to make it work.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun. So as long as the class is fun, I think it's worth, even if it's double the node stones.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, because you would consider maybe eventually going past the stage of a boss mule, right? And then you already have a really strong foundation in the nodes, so that makes that decision more easy if you do want to do eventually go up to 260 or something. Especially with Corsair, right? You just put a bunch of summons down and everything just kind of dies.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's different than Buck, right? But it's
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
It's more like Lara, I guess.
Yeah, more like a Lara, yeah, for sure. Or like a mechanic, or kind of like a cannoneer, maybe. Cannoneer has a it does more a hybrid of summons and shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. What's this cat doing? Oh, it's attacking people. So okay. Did you have any more questions?
No, I think this is fine. I won't hold you up anymore, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, you still have some time. Yeah, just the main thing is that you can have 4 pitch pieces and be like, I'm almost ready to switch, but then 2 or 3 of them can boom, and then you feel like I didn't have anything. So, not to I don't want to jinx anything, but that's more likely that what's gonna happen. Yeah,
is to boom. Like if I get a pitch, I already assume it's gonna boom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason my belt is even like 21. I was just randomly tapping it during the event, and then it just went, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah. That's how I ended up finally going arcane on my hero, because I had 20-star Abzos just to get online quickly and then start being able to boss. And then I got a shoulder drop, and during the event I was like, oh, I'm just gonna boom it. And then the shoulder went to 21, and I was like, oh damn. And then the next week I got a cape drop, and I was like, okay, I'll just boom this one then. And I went to 19, and then the week after that I got a weapon drop, and I was like, fuck, now I have to I have to switch. But that's like a benefit that you can have when your account is in a certain scenario, right? And these are the situations that can't really happen to you if you don't risk it. Then it can never possibly succeed. You have way lower chance of failure, of course, but you have 0 chance of succeeding. So that's the benefit you buy yourself by having an established account. But yeah, I hope you get way more backups. I don't know if these are like all of your significant backups, but yeah, just having a whole bunch of like Kana treasure rings, dominators, superiors, just to have more possible options is always just nice.
I don't know, like I'm really unlucky with dominators. I never get them. I think I got my first dominator after like 7 months or something. Like it was super crazy, and it's kind of funny because okay, this is like recency bias, right? So I was on like a mini vacation. I never had a pet mark on my account ever, like ever. I came back. I did Pepelatus. I got a mark. Next week, like this week, I got another mark. Like, well, what's happening here? They want me back or what?
Yeah. They're like, this guy was gone. Give him some drops.
And then you have some people, they play like 2 months and they have 7 dummies. I'm like, okay, man.
Yeah, dominators seem very... I mean, you really just need to run it daily, right? With all of your drop rate if you really want a significant chance of getting those. Or, now, especially if you've been doing C10 for a while, you get way more primals. But then the pressure is usually on your Grand Spell Essences if you want to craft some. But, I mean, the good thing is you already have a 22 Daybreak. So now all of the Daybreaks you get are basically extra dummies.
Yeah, but Daybreak is...
it's 140, just like Dominator,
yeah. It's actually, more dummies is better for Mesos.
Yeah, so if you get more Daybreaks, then you can just tap those into Superior, into Source. So that does take the pressure...
Oh, right. I forgot that Daybreak is a 140 item.
Yeah, so if you are running Heart Siren, again, if you're splitting Heart Siren into smaller party, and you're soloing Hard Vihilla, you want to start like claiming the daybreaks if other people don't need, because you want the fodders for your source, right?
Yeah.
And then that takes the pressure a little bit off of Dominator, but you still want to do normal arc daily with all the drop you have, just to give yourself those opportunities. Because crafting them is just such a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, usually I forget it. Sometimes I don't, and then I just do it. But lately I've been doing it more since I want backups, right? Like fodder.
Yeah, there's probably a few daily bosses that are just nice to do, especially since if you want to like get good Magnificent Souls for your weapon. So what I would do is like normal Magnus, normal Queen, normal Vellum, normal Arc, and Helix. And just do like pop like a 10-minute drop coupon and just do all of those as like one daily. And if you do that for like a while, you have a whole lot of soul shards. You have maybe an extra primal or two, but hopefully you get some dominators out of that. You got your coins backups for extra superiors in case you need. Because if you get a lot of coins when you get to the, to the pitch situation, you could decide like, am I just going to do one 22 superior into 21? Or am I going to do, like what I mentioned, just if you try to tap for 22 on the source, like if it goes down, do you just do a new superior? Again, you'll have more options to try that. And it is also very possible that you have two superiors, that's good, but it's also possible that neither of them reach 22, right? So you want to build up your Gollux coins regardless. So those are just important dailies. You want to have as much drop rate as possible to see if you can maybe hit some earrings or some belts, if you want to later make some things to 22. So just like one daily cycle there. I did that for like probably like 2 years on like 3 or 4 of my characters. Probably a little bit overkill. But to do that on one character is really good value in just those 10 minutes. Just like doing all your simple dailies and all that stuff is really good value for like that first half hour on your higher level character.
Yeah, it's consistency, right?
Yeah. If you do it every day and then you forget a day or two, that's not a big deal. But if you already only do it like 2 or 3 times a week and then you forget a few times, you're forgetting like 50% of the times that you're doing it, right? Instead of forgetting 1 in 7, you're only forgetting 15% of the time that you're doing it. So over the longer stretch, it's not going to hurt you as much, and then you give yourself a little bit more leeway. But again, that comes down to how much you want to play and your work-life balance and all that stuff, and how much you want to give into the FOMO of the game, because once you start doing that, there's no return. So just make sure you have your own limits somewhere where it's like, okay, this is where I draw the line, and I'm just not going to pass that, because otherwise the game is just going to take you by the hand into the rabbit hole, and you're never going to see the light of day again.
The only FOMO I have is weekly bosses.
Yeah, and that's also a really nice part, that if your pitched hits, your FOMO for those bosses also goes down. So you're like, you don't have to do all of them. Like, fuck it, I already have a 22 ET fuck loom for this week, and then you're basically just saying no to the crystal and maybe to the ring box. But it also just make it easier to kind of like, if you have to make tougher decisions, there.
Yeah, I mean, good thing the only ring I really want at this point is Roar 4 for Kalos. But that's it. It's just one boss, so it doesn't really matter.
You have a Roar, right? But like a 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Roar 2. I don't use it. It's worse than my Roar 4, so.
Yeah, then you're continuous, yeah. Yeah, continuous is nice because of Lord of the Deep, right? Too bad it doesn't do anything when you're mobbing. Or like 10% attack, every 8 seconds, right? No, 10% attack isn't bad, but yeah, it's not worth mobbing with.
No, I'm up in my Buccaneer anyways, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess that's one little last thing. If you're doing like a lot of bosses and you're doing it in continuous, do you have your drop rate set built up that you can switch without switching out of your continuous ring?
No. I have to wait like a minute or something. Like a minute and 30 seconds, is it? Yeah,
it's 2 minutes, but like by the time you get to the boss and everything, it's probably like, closer to 90 seconds or something like that. Because I noticed that I didn't intentionally do that, but I did build it up for my Demon Avenger. Also, really likes the continuous ring, and it's actually pretty cool that I can still hit my cap with without it. Because what I did was I built the set around also being able to wear a spirit pendant, so that when I'm bossing, I don't want the spirit pendant, so
yeah.
I wear an extra drop rate pendant instead, and that means I don't have to switch one of the rings, so I can keep the continuous on. It's more like it's a little min-maxy thing, but it is something when you're like, oh, there's maybe an event and you're not really planning to do any big projects, but that could be a smaller project to do that could be a good quality of life for you if you notice that you're but always waiting for the rings is kind of like disrupting your regular bossing setup.
Yeah, it kind of depends. If there are mules with me, they're usually like slow anyway. So, but
Yeah.
if it's solo,
Ja,
I
mainly
just
for
wanna
solo.
go.
Yeah. Je wanna vooruit met de geit.
Hm?
Je wanna vooruit met de geit.
Vooruit met de geit. Opschieten.
Yeah, precies. You don't want to wait around forever. But because that's the big downside of the continuous ring, right? With drop rate switching and everything. But also with the foresight of the presets, that would allow you to set up a preset where you can switch faster, and then also might be able to keep on your continuous ring. It's just a small thing that I thought about, but I've noticed with the continuous ring, I noticed that pretty quickly. I was like, ugh, this is annoying, like having to wait 2 minutes for it to do something. Because then a lot of times I'll just go back to my older ring, because I still have like a 22 damage ring, but you had your 21 reinforced, right, and you remade it into drop rate, so you can go back to that, but you lose a lot of damage when you switch back to that. I guess that's like a really small thing as well, but when you log off on a character, do you switch back to the reinforced ring instead of your continuous ring?
Well, what do you mean? Sorry.
Like if you log off, do you log off with the continuous ring on, or do you put the reinforced ring on?
No, I just have my drop gear on. Usually I do dailies first, and if I start bossing, I just equip bossing, and then I don't know, mix some tea in, and then come back, and then everything is ready.
Well, because of the Legion raid power, right? It's connected to how much Star Force you have on. So what I try to do is when I log off a character, I try to equip as much Star Force as possible, especially if it's for a longer period of time, so that my Legion rate power stays higher, and that my coin, because I'm thinking when you get your weapon, I want you to be able to use as many Eternal Flames and stuff, and if you can get some extra Eternals from the shop and some extra Black Flames maybe, that could be enough to maybe hit that tier 7, because the events have been good, but in between events there's nothing, right? So it's like a bunch of those small things to like tighten it up a little bit to make sure that in the long term you can just have more resources to pick from. It's kind of the vibe.
I never thought about that actually. It does make sense when my Legion power is almost the same as when I walk. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's what you and then once you kind of know that number and you look at your Legion rate power, you look at your character, and you're like, why is it so? Oh, I probably logged off in drop rate gear. And then if you have the character switches, it'll make it so much easier, because then you just log back in, click, log back out. It'll be really fast. It's the same thing like what I do, like whenever I do dailies or bosses or stuff on a character, I usually like what I call like clean up my character first. Like I'll go into art mill, like extract things if I have to, NPC things if I have to, put things in storage, and then check like the Star Force, and then log off the character. It's a little bit extra stuff to do every time, but it does mean that you don't have things expiring that you just left on a character, for example, or you don't have a bunch of money or like crystals still that you can sell, so that when there's an event you always kind of know how much money you actually have. If you're like planning for big projects, it's not as big of a deal, but if there's some small projects you could maybe do, but you don't have a good overview of how much money you actually have access to, that can impact like what decisions you make, and maybe make you wait longer than you might have to, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to get you too deep into the realm of like min-maxing this stuff, but that's why my like rage power is where it's at, is because all the characters, they might have some event rings, but then they also might have like a what's it called, like the Arcarium ring, like the one that just has like 10 Star Force. So just before I log off, I'll switch those, because it's an extra 10 Star Force, because that could push you into the next bracket of Star Force power, right? And then it might just give you like 1 million or 2 million more, and all the little bits do pile on together.
It makes sense. Yeah. I usually, like right now, I usually use my coins for Legion wealth and drop coupons and attack coupons.
Yeah,
and that's it. And it's sustainable because I got enough back. But once I start buying flames with it or other stuff,
One
it goes
week
hard.
of black flames is 5k, I think. So
Okay.
that's like half
Yeah.
your coins gone. Yeah, if you want to do that. The
That's
Eternals
crazy.
are more affordable. The Eternals are 150, so that'd be 3k for 1 week. But still, you know, if you want to buy like 1 week and then, you know, you go from like Sunday to Monday for Liberation, you want to buy 2 weeks worth, that's 6k, that's half your coins, right? So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it could go really quick. Like I used to have like 150,000 coins, and people were like, "Oh my god, you have endless coins. You're never going to be able to finish those." And then I did my totems and used coupons during my totems for 4 months, and I went from 150k to 50k. I was like, I don't think you guys realize how quickly these things go down if you really like use them on a daily basis. They just melt. So yeah, it's not like you have infinite. So yeah, not to try to. Okay, I'm done lecturing on the Legion coins now. Sorry.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, you'll bring up all of your lower level characters to 200, and you're gonna work on the Star Force on there, right? Try to get the 1+1 event once you have some more slots filled. That's also like power in numbers, because that could very easily bring your number from like 350, even though they get like a little bit per character, from like 350 to like 400 or to 450, which would be like a third more passive coin generation, which will make a huge difference on a longer period of time as well. So again, it's all the little bits, all the little bits working together that'll will make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cheap to Star Force until 11 or something, or 12. Like, you get that money back, like, way... Like,
instantly.
easy.
That's the main thing, is that all your other projects are just so expensive that comparatively, that's really efficient to do that now,
Yeah.
Okay, anything else you can think of? You want to do any shout-outs or anything? I don't know.
Nah, man. I'm good.
For your favorite football team, or... I don't know.
No, I don't like football, so...
Oh, you don't like 22 guys running around, or 20 and just kicking a ball around? You don't like that?
It's 22, right? It's Elftal, so...
Yeah, well, yeah, but the keepers usually stay in their goals. Yeah. They don't run around too far, typically. That's why I was doubting us. More like 20, We have coach running on the sideline. Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, well, hopefully it was helpful for you to gain some insights in like the bigger decisions. Yeah, you were in a pretty unique situation. You very rarely see people this far, but then still have like everything 21. Because I myself am a 21 gamer, but I'll pass the baton to you to be the true 21 gamer, because I fall into the trap of making some 22s. You got one, but I usually have more. So.
And the only reason I have that one is because I didn't care and I just kept tapping.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that could be dangerous though, because you're like, oh wait, maybe I should do that with everything. That's how the 22 tapper is born, and the person who has like half their equips 22 and the other half 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see that you didn't fully go in that direction. You still have a lot of self-control. That's good to see.
Yeah, I'm not a gamble addict yet, so...
Yeah, not yet.
Right, I mean, thanks for the sparing, I guess, like, the discussion.
Yeah. You're very welcome. I'll upload it so that in case you missed anything or you just want to hear it, you want to hear your own voice back, which is usually a great time. You can check it out.
It's not that great, but I think I will watch it back just to memorize it a bit,
Yeah, make sure you get all. And if you do have follow-up questions based on it, like you hear something that we talked about and maybe we didn't go fully into it, or it just sparks something else, you can just hit me up on Discord or just jump into the chat. And I've seen you in there anyway, so then you could just ask, like, because then we have some foundation already to start on, right? I might not know exactly what we were talking about, but then we can go a little bit more in depth. Okay. Well, good luck with. Sorry.
All good.
All good, yeah. Oh, well, good luck with everything, and I don't know if you're going to do anything else for Valentine's. If so, have fun with that, and if not, there's always next year, I guess. But yeah, I'll... Sorry?
The only date I have right now is with Ursus, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, exactly. we gotta do Ursus in a little bit, get that money while we still can. We don't know the future of Ursus is also insecure, so let's get that universal bear income.
Yeah, the welfare bear, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, yeah. Good luck, and I'll see you around in chat.
Yeah. Right. Take care.
All right.
Bye bye.
Yes. You too. Bye bye. All right. So we have someone who's quite a bit further into the game, and yeah, you get into the question of if you can already do all the things around your level, do you still need to upgrade, or is everything a want? And it's always a good question. If you're going for those high level bosses, I would say upgrade a bunch of things. I would say, you know, probably work on the emblem, probably knock out some 22s here, definitely the CRA, that kind of stuff. But if you're not really going any further than you are, you're already doing normal Kalos, you just want to add easy Kaling and maybe split up Saren party, you're good where you are. You know, you can save all that money, maybe invest some of it into bossing mules, start increasing your weekly income by a lot. And then when those really big upgrades, you know, like the pitched and Eternals do come around, you'll have way more money at that point, and then you'll be able to take the big chances. So it is a pretty unique situation, but you know, we go from the situation to the desires, to the wants of the player. We don't try to fit everyone, fold them into a mold of like that's where you should be, you know. So that's what we do here. So if this was informational to you, if this was somewhat entertaining, or you learned a thing or two, I'm glad. If you didn't, maybe check out another video. Hopefully there should be a playlist or a next video or something like that on the screen. And if you would like to win one of these sessions, make sure that you leave a comment saying that you would like to win. And please include your Discord name so I can reach out to you. And if you don't want the RNG of being one of those 2 people who get a free session that I draw at the end of every month, then you can also check out !coaching in the Twitch chat over there. Sorry, my fingers got cut off there. Or check the description of the video. I stream every day over at twitch.tv/Scardor, so you can also just jump in and ask questions all throughout. You don't have to do like a structured session and pay money for that. If you just, you know, enter the chat and you have small questions, there's me and a whole bunch of helpful people in the chat who will be more than willing to help you out. So hopefully I'll see you there, and if not, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. See ya.